friends a long time, I've known him a long time. And what he does with the IDA, he's probably some sort of genius. However, regardless of how much money the IDA may bring in, there was an article in the newspaper about a $100 million water park. I got no phone calls about that whatsoever. There's an article about a $175,000 bonus. I got 16 phone calls. Now the difference in that is perception. Because perception of the IDA by us and by my constituents is the fact that it's a public entity. And although personally I don't believe in bonus for public officials, for whatever reason the criteria was established and you live by it, I think the issue of the bonus along with this pay rate is something that, regardless of whether we like it or not, we have to discuss and have to be on the same page on it. And I think that's what you're driving at tonight. And I know that if we looked at those three major projects we had the slideshow about, $4 million, you're trying to tell us that if it weren't for the bonus, those would not have been done. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm trying to say is that we had established criteria set by according to the controls opinion. We evaluated those criteria for the actual performance. We wanted to incent performance, jobs, investment, taxes. That's what the board felt was appropriate under our pre-established criteria. They disagree with the amount. And again, we hear you loud and clear. And we need, sincerely, we know each other one time. We need to do better at communicating where we're at. I think that's part of the message, but I don't want to lose where we want to be driving the bus. And we want to come and meet with you and talk with you and deal with this mano a mano, straight up. But I'm saying there was a process, there was a controls opinion process, we followed it to a T, and that's where we sincerely used our business judgment as directors of a company or an entity, and that's where we came down.
So knowing that you were going to give bonus for this extra work that he was doing, but you also give him increases in his salary every year as well. Assuming that he was doing the same work every year, I doubt that too. If you were looking at the bonus structure and the strata became thicker and thicker as we went along the years, the process I would have seen more realistic would have been to add to his job description those things which you see coming up every time a project was initiated, and then adding to a salary, reducing the bonus accordingly. But it seemed like the bonus was the driving force for all the work, and therefore the salary did grow. Was sort of the base which he was going to give whether he did anything or not.
I'm kind of sorry for that perception, but I understand it. Okay, we have monthly meetings. They start at 8 in the morning. Sometimes they run a fairly incredible length of time. Sorry about it. 3 hours. We're working on our projects, keeping it focused, keeping it going so we know where we're going. Sometimes we don't have the time to document the work because we meet as a comp committee once a month or once a year. We acknowledge we got to do better on it. I'm just telling you straight up. So, that being the case, I think we were successful for what we believe in our sincere love for the county was our charge. Jobs, taxes, investment. I think we did a good job on it. We just have to do a better job documenting where we are. But we wanted to incent him for completion. I know it's all the same stuff. I know I'm trying to answer your question, but I'm just trying to say, at some point it is what it is. We can't hide from it, but we did what was right. I think we have nothing to be embarrassed about because we had really good results. And that's the part I don't think that people were really saying. It was kind of getting lost. And that's why I think we needed to sit and talk with each other. And I want to do it again in a smaller group arena. I'll come and sit with you guys and go through it. I think we know each other well. And say, hey, let's work on the criteria. Let's establish what his duties are. But remember, as a developer, kind of like a lawyer, Larry will tell you, your day changes as that phone rings. It's not like, I have a job working for the county, my job is exactly the same, this is my description. As that phone rings and as that email comes in, you get dragged, every direction, every day, it's a new adventure. It's like the Wild West. And sometimes, I get emails from 4 in the morning, 8 in the morning, and where are we on this project? Believe me, this stuff here, I've spent a lot of time on. But we got business we have to do. We got to get busy finishing up Steeple. We got work to do, real work, important stuff. Not that this isn't, but I'm just saying to you how it happened, and I hope you can at least understand it because we're busy trying to do what we think in our sincere you know, and just remember, as sincere as human beings, where we think we ought to be with this entity, because we think what we do is important. There isn't a man on this board who doesn't think what we do is important. I have to tell you, I've been before probably 40 IDAs across the state. These guys are top shelf in terms of business background, acumen, you know, understanding. Each has a different skill set. Construction, finance, it's pretty good. Most of the other boards are kind of governmental oriented, you know, kind of, you know, do nothing other than they get a lunch, and they approve, you know, a project, so they get a fee. That's what it is. You go, this. You go to the Albany IDA at 12 in the afternoon. Once every 3 weeks, they have lunch. They sit there, they vote, they go home. These guys are working on making sure these projects get done, making sure we direct Sandy Mathis to, you know, because again, we're fairly thinly staffed. You go to the Albany IDA, they have 20 people. And again, they get a salary or they get a stipend from the legislature. They get money to operate their facilities. We don't. We're derivative of our pilots. And, you know, so we have to be a little nimble. And that's, you know, a distinction we haven't really touched on, but, you know, any guys want to come to me and go to an Albany IDA meeting, we'll go get a sandwich together and you'll see. We get our fee and that's what it is. Not that they're great people or not great people, I mean, they're really good people. But they, you know, they have a different situation. Their revenues are derived from bond issues for not-for-profits. We don't have it. We've never done one in this community in the last 15 years. We don't get that revenue. So we have to be a little nimble. Because again, where we found ourselves is no one would operate for ourselves but ourselves.
Back in '04, when you started this bonus criteria, I noticed, it says here, the Greene County IDA currently has a 3-year contract with a base salary with Executive Director Mathis, which includes a performance evaluation process to occur in the month of November, with the payment of any additional performance compensation to be made in the month of December. That was good, you know, back in 2004. Then in 2009, you eliminated those dates. They're not there anymore. Now it says, the Greene County IDA and the Executive Director have agreed to institute a policy which includes an annual performance evaluation process scheduled by the Compensation Committee of the Greene County IDA. No more do you mention November or December.
Well, because we're on an annual basis, and where we got to, and this just happened. I mean, you know, the comp committee, we established our criteria at the beginning of the year. It's voted on by the full board. Okay, and then we evaluate against the prior comp, you know, criteria. That's how it went. That's why those dates were removed.
Also, you just got another raise, April 15th, 10, of $45,000. And now you added to this bonus.
I don't think that's accurate. That's not accurate.
A bonus of $45,000. Is that correct? It was approved by the board? A $45,000 bonus?
Yes.
Not a pay raise.
You said pay raise, and that's not
So we
accurate.
got a bonus April 15th of this year for $45,000.
So that's 2000. Well, stop right there. That's 2010 payment for 2009 performance. So that's
Okay.
Total payment, by the way.
right. That's right.
Okay. So,
I mean, I just let's put it in context.
well, it's very hard too, by all means, these minutes, when you gotta look back and, you know, you get paid for 10, for 9. So
If
it's
you
a little
want to give us any constructive help as to how you want it to be organized, we're happy to help.
Just going through this, so just bear with me.
Okay, sure.
Okay? So now, we added here, for 2010, the retention of a large